Salvete. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are in the world. Mihi nomen est Dylan Drago, and you are listening to the Latin Prayer Podcast, where my aim is to help you strengthen and enrich your prayer life using the universal language of the Church, Latin. Gaudete in Pascha. Happy Easter to you all. Let me first begin by saying how grateful I am to all of you listeners who are praying the Rosary in Latin. This podcast has been downloaded more than 1,400 times, and we now have listeners all over the world in 15 different countries. It warms my heart that there is such a love for praying the Holy Rosary in Latin. I feel obligated to explain to you the lack of new prayers being uploaded to the podcast, and I shall give you 5 reasons, and hopefully you'll understand my tardiness. First of all, we moved. We no longer live in a 1,000 square foot condo, but in my in-laws' basement suite. My boys can now run around in the backyard and dig up worms and eat wood bugs. Yes, my wife caught our almost 2-year-old eating wood bugs. Secondly, we are expecting our third. My wife and I enjoy being pleasantly surprised with the sex of the baby. However, if it does end up being another boy, we desperately ask for your prayers, most especially for our sanity. Third reason, I have recently returned from Italy. I was very blessed to be there for Easter on a company trip, and I got to pretend that I was a food snob for 2 weeks, a wine connoisseur, a pro photographer. Had the opportunity to visit multiple cities, particularly San Giovanni Rotondo, where Padre Pio was buried. That was magnificent. Monte Gargano, where the sanctuary of St. Michael the Archangel is, and he has appeared there many times. Firenze, and Roma, the Eternal City. While I was in Rome, I had a chance to visit 27 different churches, and I did pray the Rosary in Latin every day. At every church I visited, I lit a candle for the intentions of family members, friends, and of course the listeners of the podcast. The fourth reason is that I was thoroughly jet-lagged, and I'm glad to be over it. And the fifth reason, of course, is because we've just moved, I've got a ton of house projects. The biggest one is building a bookshelf, and it's taking a lot longer than I had anticipated. All of this to say that I have not forgotten about the podcast, and I will be adding more prayers in the upcoming weeks and months. I hope that this podcast will lead you also to study the rich traditions of the faith and will inspire in you a desire to come to know and love our blessed Lord and His Mother, Mary, and increase and aid your devotions to them and the saints. If you do like this podcast, please consider leaving a review, as it will help others find it on iTunes. Know that if you are listening to the podcast that I am praying for you, please pray for me and my family also. Most especially, I ask you all to keep my wife and our unborn child in your prayers as we get ready for their arrival within the month. Please be patient with the uploading of new prayers. They are on their way. Till then, may everything you do be ad majorem Dei gloriam. God love you. Valete.